Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Friday, July 7th, 2017. My name is Rich, and joining me to cover ANW9 Kansas City Qualifiers is Bijan. How you making out?
Good, man. Happy belated 4th of July to everybody at home in America. And, celebrations to you, Rich.
Happy Canada Day to us, too, yes.
I failed to say that last week, so, happy Canada Day, man.
Yeah, we derailed quickly last week because somebody had to rub in the champ being here, but we are past that now, and we are going to be taking a look at Kansas City.
Because last I checked,
way past
I'm the champ of Team Ninja Warrior Fantasy and American Ninja Warrior Fantasy.
You have 2 more months.
The champ is here!
2 months left in this reign.
We'll see.
So we're going to be covering just the ANW episode this week. No more Team Ninja Warrior. And unfortunately, since we covered Crashing the Course Kansas City last week, we don't have Crashing the Course either. So it might be a short episode this week.
We'll find a way to make it an hour. We always seem to.
Yes, I'm sure we'll get on a rant of some kind. But taking a look at this course, man, I love this course. Overall, They are killing it on the courses this year.
Yeah, like no duds so far, really. I mean, I'm really liking what I'm seeing.
I can't think of a single obstacle I haven't loved. Like, they're all great. All the new additions have all been good ones. And this one had like 3 in a row. Like, they really stepped it up for these guys.
Those broken pipes, man. Oh, those terrify. Like, their balance obstacles this year are so insane. They terrify me so much.
Yeah, so running down the obstacles we had the floating steps, the hang glider, broken pipes, crank it up, the bar hop, and the warped wall. Mm-hmm. Is Crank It Up your favorite one? Because that's the one we were all excited to see. Did that end up being your favorite overall?
Oh, yeah. Crank It Up's awesome. And I love everything about it. We went deep into it last week, but just everything involved with the muscles and the technique involved. I mean, there's so much complexity to that obstacle. I love everything about it. And in many ways, you get that 1-2 punch of that obstacle of Crank It Up, and then you have to do the... Help me out, Rich. What's it called?
Bar hop.
The bar hop. Yeah, so right after that, we have the bar hop, and both obstacles involve you having to kip up, use a lot of your core and your grip strength, and there's a lot of like swinging transitions through the air and everything. I mean, it's gotta wear your arms out and your core out so much, and like all that grip strength and everything. I'm loving their placement of those obstacles. Really smart. This course in general, very core heavy.
Yeah, Crank It Up alone should be one of those cranks, not 3 of them offset with all these other things going on. Like, they're insane. Like, they drop from the second one down to the third one after all this other stuff. Like, I cannot believe when I saw the full obstacle in all its glory. What a crazy, crazy thing.
Oh, yeah. It's like we only got part of it last week. Like, seeing the full thing, that was pretty insane. And I really enjoyed watching that. The struggle with the competitors, the grit that they showed with their tenacity and everything. Really, just watching them try to get through the obstacle after that. That 1-2 punch right after with the bar hop, I love the fact that they have that, and just seeing the tenacity of people trying to gut through that, knowing that their hands are completely shredded, that they're completely worn out. I mean, just love that so much. But that broken pipe obstacle, the spins, I mean, that's pretty rough. I saw that obstacle and I was just noping out immediately. That's some brilliant design right there.
Yeah, it's painful. Like, if it was in a straight line, it would be bad enough. It's so long, but to have it offset like that is just mean. Like, they really had it in for the competitors.
And that little balancing stepping stone right in the middle, like, trips you up.
Can't even put a solid platform or something in the middle. They had to stick one of those in there, too.
Yeah, I love the brilliance. It's so, like, when you look at it, it's like, oh, it's just straightforward. But then when you think of the complexity of it, I mean, man, that's some awesome stuff right there.
So, yeah, a lot of love for the course. The thing with the ninjas this week, the actual competitors, is we didn't have the name power that we've had in these other weeks. But I actually didn't seem to mind that as much as I thought I would. I was really, not that I was drawn in by the dynamic personalities, but there was something compelling to having the more average, lesser knowns, get a lot of airtime. I thought that was good.
Yeah, it was refreshing. I liked a lot of the stories. There are some stories I can do without, but for the most part, I really enjoyed the new faces and the personalities that they brought to the forefront on this episode. I found it really refreshing, and yeah, it was good stuff. But it did hit me towards the end, like right at the very end. I think when they were highlighting Lance Pekus so heavily that he was like the standout of this episode, and I had to think back. I'm like, how many like ninjas, like well-known ninjas, were featured on this episode? And not a lot, but as you said, Rich, I didn't mind because this 2 hours flew by for me because there were so many dynamic stories that were introduced.
Yeah, overall, I think they did a better job of this week than the one they had Drew Drechsel and Jesse Graff in. Go figure.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And that's crazy.
So yeah, let's go take a look at the runs. We've got, first up, we had Chris Lang, the less shorts, more power guy.
Shame.
Nah, it's not that bad. I mean, it was a little much.
I know. I just wanted to ding the bell because that's the only shame bell you're gonna get this episode, guys.
Yeah.
I was like, part of me was like, oh gosh, here we go. But they kept it short. It wasn't like so like over the top. It was kind of annoying though. Like he was playing it up, but he gave it his all. He kind of fell early. It was kind of like it wasn't needed, but it wasn't to the extremities of man boobs, horse ab status. So it's whatever to me.
I think it's a lot easier to swallow when it's the first run, right? That's the spot to put them. That's the time to get in those goofy little short things. It's like, all right, we're ready to go. We got a little preview of the obstacle. We get to see somebody fall before the more serious competitors. I think if they stick to that and have it at a minimum, I think we can live with that.
Yeah, I agree. And the important part is he did give it his all. I mean, Man Boobs guy gave it his all too. He actually completed the course, so I gotta give him props for that. But still, I was just seeing so much red that he still gets the shame for me. But with this guy, as you said, Rich, it was a lot more tolerable, I guess, because of the placement. And also, they didn't devote so much time to it. So,
yeah,
it's whatever.
So, yeah, he ended up going out on the broken pipes, and it kind of showed off how tough they were going to be. I had a feeling we would see a lot of falls there, and we did.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we didn't see it, but from what they were, like, hinting at in the episode with how much how many of the competitors they took out, I think that was really the thing that took out most of the field. They were hinting like it was taking out, at one point they said it took out like a third of the field.
I must have missed that. Yeah, I would guess it would be a lot. And if they didn't take them out, it certainly caused some close calls.
Yeah.
Next up, we had Derek Pavoni, the pizza maker guy. He had lots of energy, like an insane amount of energy. Him and his family. The sidelines was going absolutely nuts.
I loved his energy. I mean, just that staticness. It's electric. It's you just feel it with him, you know? And he was so psyched, so amped. He showed so much personality on the course. I have to say, really, though, his vignette was not needed might be shortened because I almost felt like we didn't need that much of his story because his run was so electric. And there are some stories later on in the episode that I found very curious that we didn't get any of their story. Yeah, I really enjoyed this guy. And I really think they're gonna enjoy seeing him like in later seasons because you could tell this guy was training. I believe there was at one point in the episode where we saw this guy, Jimmy Choi, and another competitor training in the same gym, in the same videos. So these guys definitely live and breathe American Ninja Warrior. So I have a feeling we're going to see this guy for many years. And he really had a very fun electric energy to him.
Yeah, no lack of energy, that's for sure. And he did way better than I gave him credit for because I thought, all right, we're just getting some more personality. But he did pretty decent. He looked a little shaky at first. They get a little shout out to Kevin Brecky again, which is good. So
I'm happy about that. I was really worried in the first episode when they were just like, "Oh yeah, some person made this obstacle," and didn't say anything else. I'm like, "What?" But over the past few seasons, they've gotten a lot more love to the people that design the obstacles, and I really feel like that's much deserved. So I'm really happy that Kevin Brecky got a shout out on the episode.
But yeah, Derek did end up going out on the last crank. He almost made it through, but he did end up succumbing to the crank it up in the end.
Yeah.
Next on the course, we had Omar Nafa. He's from Jordan. I've never heard of this movie, but I guess there's a movie about him called Amrika.
Yeah, this was one of the two stories that I was very curious that wasn't featured. There was so much that they're hinting at with this guy. I'm shocked we didn't get at least like maybe a 30-second vignette of what this guy's story is. They're like, this guy's a big deal. He's got one of the most amazing stories you'll ever hear about. He even has a movie made about him. Let's not say anything else about it. We'll just have him run. I'm like, what? And they're like, oh, his mom came from Jordan. She helps like Syrian refugees. She flew a freaking day out to like this to see her son run this course. Everything about this is everything that they love in terms of a story of American Ninja Warrior, and nothing. And I'm just stunned that we didn't get anything, because I'm very intrigued about this guy's story. He had a movie made about him. He's an immigrant that just like lives the American life. I mean, this is the American story, dude. And I'm stunned we don't know anything else about him.
I'm not, because I feel like the only reason they really featured him was for that save that he made on the hang glider. That dismount, and he lands and catches himself by his elbows and manages to pull himself up. Like,
that was awesome.
It was amazing, and I feel like that was the real reason they showed him, not this amazing backstory he had. He ended up going out in the broken pipes, but an amazing save. Definitely worth seeing the save from Omar Nafa.
Yeah. I still really am curious about that guy's story. And more importantly, his mom's story. There's so much there.
They should make a movie about that.
There's some stuff about that. Yeah, they should make a movie about that, dude.
Yeah. I guess I'll have to go download the movie. Buy the movie.
Shame.
After that, we had Sarah Schoback, who I had no idea we were going to get to see her again so soon after Team Ninja Warrior.
That was crazy, because I'm like, Schoback, what? She had a much better time this episode, right?
Yes, she did. I feel vindicated because we kind of gave her some credit there and said, you know what?
Yeah.
She was in a tough spot. No shame on her at all for that fall.
She was literally in the worst position ever in Team Ninja Warrior. I don't wish that upon anybody.
Yeah, and thankfully she gets some airtime here to vindicate herself. She opened her own gym. She's the first mom to open one. She managed to catch herself in the middle of broken pipes, and then again at the end, 2 close calls.
Awesome. Yeah.
Before going out in the second crank, but she had a great showing.
As you said, I'm so happy she was vindicated, and she was the first competitor, I believe, that went to crank it up. So she did a great job introducing us to that obstacle. And that's a tough one. She really showed a lot of heart on that obstacle. I don't know, man. I was just so happy. We just saw her in like the worst position ever in Team Ninja Warrior, and then we see her come right back in ANW and kill it. I loved it.
Yeah, she was great. I'm very happy to see that, and hope we'll be seeing more of her in the future.
Oh, we will.
After her, we had another crazy old guy on this course that's making me feel like the worst, laziest person on the planet. This guy's Rich Talavera at 70 years old.
70.
70. He is almost 30 years older than me. Almost twice my age. Well, he's more than both of us put together.
Oh, yeah. He's twice my age.
He had a stroke in 2010, a hip replacement last year, and, he's doing handstands on skateboards and running up warp walls and stuff, as you do.
I literally banged my knee in yesterday doing a handstand. This guy's just doing it like nothing. This was such a needed story because people underestimate, I guess, what I'm talking about when you need a good, compelling vignette or story. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to complete the entire course. It just means you need something that's different, that really stands out and isn't just so over the top, goofy, and dumb. This was so amazing. In many ways, his video and the stuff that he does in the video athletically surpasses his run on the course. And just that video alone makes it all worth the entire thing. This guy was so amazing with all the different athletic feats that he shows at his age. That is such an amazing feat, and really, like, just stands out to a lot of the older viewers what they can do. I really have so much respect for this guy.
Guys like him, I always wonder, like, what if we could put them on the ANW 4 or 5 course? What could they do on one of those ones? Because it almost seems unfair that they're coming into the game with this ridiculous course, this crazy difficulty level that they've put up there now. Like the floating steps. First time we saw the floating steps, we were like, they did what to the quintuple steps? Like, are they crazy? Hardly anybody's going to get past the first obstacle now. And this guy just proved that a 70-year-old can do it.
Yeah. I'm just thinking back to, like, season 1, where we have just a regular quintuple steps into, like, a literal rope swing over water, and that's taking out, like, half the field. and now we look at, like, ANW now, and we're like, oh, geez. It's just a completely different beast, man.
Yeah, back in the day, Crank It Up could have been the final stage, and it wouldn't have been beaten.
Yeah.
So yeah, he set a new record by beating the floating steps. He's the oldest person to ever complete an obstacle. And then he ended up going on the hang glider because that obstacle is a little ridiculous for someone that's 70 years old. And he's still, I wouldn't have been surprised if he'd done it the way he showed so much athleticism.
He looks very young and spry for his age, and I'd be stunned. I think this guy might pass up Jon Stewart as, like, the featured elder ninja, completing, like, so many different obstacles. And, like, Jon Stewart is always going to have the throne of, like, completing a stage, because I don't see this guy necessarily completing a course, I should say. But I feel like we're going to see him over the years go up the ranks of maybe somebody in their 70s completing 3 different obstacles or something like that. I mean, this guy really shows no slowing down anytime soon. I'm excited to see his video next year, of him just doing, like, 3 backflips in a row or something. I'm just sitting here on my butt eating Cheetos or something, being like, oh, that's cool.
Next on the course was Hunter Gerard, the lizard, they call him. I really liked this guy. I was like, wow, he's so interesting. He's got such a cool personality. I even liked his movements through the course. I could see why they call him the lizard. He's got this weird quality to the way he runs, but he looked very smooth and comfortable, didn't you think?
Yeah, it's kind of like a franticness. I mean, he's going all out, but the same way he's controlled at the same time. He's another guy that trains at a gym. I believe he works at Shobek's gym, and you can definitely see that training show off with his run. I mean, he knew what he was doing, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. That tongue, dude. Whew, that tongue is long.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think they're kind of hinting to it. They're like, oh my, and I'm like, y'all need to calm down.
But I loved watching him destroy Crank It Up and show that it can be done. That was cool. I was like, wow, this guy is amazing. Like, clear sailing all the way through to the warped wall.
Until he tried to show off.
What the heck? I was so confused. Now, he tried to justify it afterwards by saying that he thought it would be easier to grab going backwards like that. Do you think that was the case, or do you think he was trying to show off?
I think he was trying to show off. I mean, maybe he thought that, but I don't know. I seriously think he was just trying to show off. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you can show off, but you have to be 100% confident in what you're doing. Like, because if you try to show off and do something like that, it's not a good look. You know what I mean, man?
Yeah, I don't know. At first, I thought he was showing off. When he said that, I gave it some more thought, and I thought, if you're going to show off, that's probably not the way you're going to do it. I'm thinking there's other ways to do it, and he probably would have done it some other way. So I think it was just a really, really poor decision made in the heat of the moment, and I'm sure he won't live it down for a while.
Yeah, either way. I mean, he went on to the finals, so we'll see what he's got, next time he does it, tries for it.
Yeah, I expect to see him do very well in the finals. I also think it doesn't really matter how he did in the finals, that if he was at my gym, I would still give him a very hard time with that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's going to get hazed for a while.
So we had some fast forwards after that. including a notable Cassie Craig who fell on the broken pipes. And
that was interesting because I noticed this a few episodes. And I don't know if you noticed this, Rich, but at the beginning of each episode, they name off a bunch of ninjas that we're going to see on this episode, and at least one of those competitors every episode they skip. They fast forward them, and Cassie Craig was this episode's person. And it's like, why are you featuring them like, Cassie Craig, you're going to see her running later this episode? And all of a sudden, it's like, oh yeah, we fast forwarded her. It's like, why are you doing that? It's not even like I'm upset that we didn't see Cassie Craig. I mean, it's not like I'd love to see her, but it's like, why are you so prominently featuring her as one of the premiered competitors that we're going to see, and then you shoot yourself in the foot kind of in editing by not showing her, really. It's weird.
It is a little weird. Yeah, to use them as the promo and then not show them, it's odd.
Teases, man. They're teases.
Yeah, a little bit. Next we had Brandon Mears, who I thought we'd see later in the episode, to be honest, because they were kind of featuring him, the Towers of Power, as that other big draw for this episode. They had Lance Pekus and the Towers of Power as kind of front and center for this episode, but we got Brandon Mears mid-episode. So he almost completely, and not that I didn't like the Towers of Power, because I do, but my opinion of him has completely changed from this little promo and the interview after. I think the guy's a complete sweetheart now.
I never disliked him. So, well, how'd your opinion change of him?
Well, I just, the dude bro thing. Bro? Yeah, all the bro things. I kind of thought him as more the macho guy more so than, this, I like getting the more real part. And he's even described as a persona. I mean, I get it. I get why they do it. But fully admits to saying that, that persona isn't me. And then we get to see the real him. And I like the real him. I think he's a cool dude.
Yeah. I really, really liked this video. In many ways, as you said, it's kind of a face turn if you disliked him before, or like you were just turned off too much by the dude bro thing. To me, it was so obnoxious. It was so over the top that it's not them, and I could tell it's not them. That it was just too annoyingly obnoxious. And I'm pretty sure they realized that rewatching it, because unfortunately in television, even if you're not trying to, they play up everything, And it was probably played up to way more than they expected. And I really liked, as you said, seeing this softer side of him. And something very, very real to a lot of people in the world that can very much relate. And it's a very, tough thing to talk about of, trying to have children, but, it's not just happening. And then you go through in vitro or whatever you can, and you're you have a child and she's pregnant right now, and I was almost tearing up. I was so happy for them because you can see the genuine joy in the family and what they've gone through to get to that point. So it was a really cool moment, not only for him, but for his wife. Yeah, just this whole run, knowing that, it really added to the run, and you just root for him the entire way. And you can see him just muscling, the way he went through that Crank It Up, dude. He flew through that. He's like, I am doing this for my family, and I just really enjoyed this run, as you said, man.
Yeah, they said that his height, being 6'5", that it would be easier for him in the cranks. I kind of wondered if it wouldn't be harder in some ways.
It'd be easier. Come on, man.
It would be. Well, I mean, the reach would definitely help a lot, but that's a lot of weight to be kind of throwing up there too, right?
It is, but the way, or at least it's hard for me because I've never been on it, right? But from what I'm seeing, it's much more of how you're holding your hands up. It's very similar to when Casey Catanzaro was doing the rings. I forgot what it was, but when she'd be holding onto both rings and she's almost spread fully out with both arms. If you got a shorter wingspan, you're gonna have a harder time trying to go upward with the upward momentum. Whereas if you have long arms, you can keep complete L's, and it's very easy to just go straight up. If that makes sense for anybody not understanding. Put both L's up to you, and you can go straight up. But if you're spread out and you try to go up, it's a lot harder on your boobs, your man boobs or your lady boobs.
All right,
a lot of boobs. We're keeping at it. Because Rich decided to beep a lot of things, so we're keeping it PG with the boobs.
Yes, I think I'll let the boobs slide. All right, so moving on, we had Devin Harrelson Dougie Fresh, the tattoo artist.
Dougie Fresh! Yes! Oh, this guy wins everything. I'm in love.
I knew you would be. I knew.
I'm in so much. Just everything about it. Just the preview alone. Like, I saw like 3 seconds of this guy, and I pointed to the TV, and I was like, yes, this guy gets it. He gets it. This is television, people. This is entertainment. This is beauty. This is art. This is everything in the world that you wanted and more. Yes, Dougie Fresh wins everything. Hall of Famer. Say it now.
Hall of Famer? Sure. We'll go with that.
Give him all the awards.
Yes, him and his light up shoes. The shoes were cool, I have to say.
The gold freaking shorts, the gold shoes, the excitement, the dancing, bro.
Oh, he was energetic. He was exciting to watch.
The charisma. Oh, I love it. Oh, just give it a minute. Let it sink in, everybody. Just let it sink in. Perfect run. Love it. Well, almost perfect run.
Yeah, nearly. He was looking a little tired after the cranks. I actually thought he was done at that point. I didn't give him much chance to get past the bar hop, but he did.
So much heart.
Man, he missed that wall in the first attempt, and I'm like, oh no, don't you dare fail on this wall. Come on. And then the second, and it's like, I'm like losing it at the screen. Come on. Like, I just want him to do it so bad, and he didn't quite make it. I thought he had it. And he just
That's one of those runs that you're just rooting for him so hard, though, right, man?
It's one of the main reasons we love this show. I really feel like watching people complete it really fast is cool. Like watching Drew just tear through the course is awesome to watch. But these guys, these first time, like you want them to hit that buzzer for the first time, and they're struggling at the wall. There is no cooler moment in ANW than watching someone doing that and making it. I feel bad that he didn't make it, but that makes it even better that he might make it in the finals now.
Yeah, and I really appreciate the fact that we got his story, not only of like his character and him being goofy and everything. That's all cool and all, but you see just how serious he took it by the fact that he made a ninja gym and put his business in the ninja gym, and he's opening it up to a bunch of children around his neighborhood and everything, and they get to train. But you see, like, he took this seriously. And even though he's goofy, he's not just a character. He really trained hard for this moment. And I was just so excited for him. Crazy that he's got Ninja Gym and couldn't get off that warped wall, just as Thomas Stillings has said. But there could be stamina and everything issues with him.
Oh, he looked exhausted.
It definitely looked, he looked completely exhausted. It looked like his legs were buckling out from underneath him rather than just improper technique. It looked like it was just more exhaustion. I mean, that guy is just jacked to the gills. I mean, you can just imagine. He's probably holding up a lot of body weight. But I was just very happy for him, and that is some crazy character funness right there. He reminds me in many ways of like Booty and like a bunch of the other characters that are just so fun, but actually very talented at the same time.
Yeah, he's a great mix for sure. I can't wait to see how he does.
Love him.
We had a couple of fast forwards after that. Adam Arnold, who is quickly becoming the Nicholas Coolidge
crazy
of the current seasons. Like, that dude is amazing and gets very little airtime.
Yeah, it's insane. And one thing I noticed, though, they referenced again National Ninja League. They said he plays third, I believe, in National Ninja League. And they said it on air, so I'm really liking the fact that they're giving a lot more love to the regional Ninja Warrior, not only gyms, but circuits and everything involved with just Ninja Warrior culture in America. And I very much appreciate that, because a lot of other shows and businesses or whatever could have just completely blacked out everything that's not official American Ninja Warrior. And I very much appreciate that they show a lot of love to everybody in dealing like that lives Ninja Warrior. That's really cool of them.
Yes, it's a nice expansion to see, because we were wondering last season why that wasn't given a little more attention. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it all feeds into each other, right? So the National Ninja League is a way for them all to train up and to be even more impressive on the show. It's all good for the sport in general. And I say that Adam Arnold got fast forwarded and that he's amazing, but at the same time he fell on the broken pipes. That almost would have been a good like surprise ending to have his full run shown. But yeah, I was really shocked to see that.
Did he make it to the finals then?
No, he was out on the broken pipes. He's done.
Yeah, so oh man, that really sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, them's the breaks, I guess, but that's rough. I feel for him.
Yeah, and Annie Dudek also got fast-forwarded. She fell on Crank It Up. Annie is very, very good too. We've seen her multiple times.
Yeah, that was interesting because they even said like she was the top female ninja at the time, and where I'm like, why is she getting skipped? At least get see a little bit of it, but
yeah, it's hard to complain this episode because I didn't really take
pretty
much,
packed.
Yeah, I didn't really take much issue with any of the runs that they did show. So yeah, whatever they get in what they could.
Yeah, I say that, but there's not much fat. Like the only fat is at the very beginning. We already went over like the hallmarks of the first runs. Could have been shortened, but it's whatever. I really can't complain about this episode.
Yeah. Next we had Jimmy Choi, who suffers from Parkinson's. We had some little cameos by Michael J. Fox, who, as I was watching this, I thought, I mean, I know you would know who Michael J. Fox is, but it wouldn't mean quite as much to you as it does me, because I grew up watching Michael J. Fox.
Me too, man. I'm not that young.
Well,
Back to the Future, all that. Michael J. Fox was a hero to me, especially with Back to the Future, and I really enjoyed watching the video of Jimmy Choi and everything. It wasn't just that he was talking about his Parkinson's, but also his life journey of dealing with the depression and the anger involved with it, of having it at a young age. And like that's some real stuff right there, and I appreciated him going through that journey with being vulnerable and opening his story up to the audience like that.
It was really, really interesting, especially because the exercise helping him to manage it, I think, is such an important message, right, to people watching at home who might be suffering with that and thinking, like, I couldn't run that course, and they might enjoy watching it, from the sidelines, but thinking that there's no way they could do it. To see him do that and realize that exercise has helped him to manage it and to control it a little better, and that he's raised over $100,000 doing these runs and things, like, that's an amazing story. Like, there are some good feel-good stories on this show and some feel-bad stories. This guy is like everything wrapped into one. This is like an amazing story front to back. Love this guy. Was really cheering him on. Everybody wanted him to go as far as he possibly could. I wasn't crazy about the whole every step he takes is a victory thing. And like, all right,
I don't
we
need
get
those.
Come on,
like they really need to stop that. But whatever. I'm not even going to harp on that. His runs was very impressive, and in many ways it was very engrossing because they were saying like his grip strength, like if he's holding on, it's going to be really tough for him because of his Parkinson's. And yet he seems so smooth and calculated. I really enjoyed watching him go through in the dynamics of him dealing with the struggle, but also just adapting with it. And his runs are, in my opinion, are always going to be. It's just always going to be a dynamic run, in my opinion. Yeah,
he ended up falling in the broken pipes, but a great run. Definitely wish him all the best, and could watch him every year.
Mm-hmm. And special shout out to his daughter. Her doing that like 180 flip on the spider jump, just that's some next level stuff. She is gonna be awesome in, I don't know, 15 years when I'm an old man watching her run on ANW.
The next ninjas are gonna be nuts. They're already getting there.
Yep.
Next on the course, I was a little surprised to see Brittany Reid. Kind of felt a little vindicated because I felt a little weird because I had put her in our ANW quiz, and I thought, was I crazy to pick her out of last season? Because I remembered her fairly clearly, and I thought I was trying to find some strong female ninjas for the thing. And here she is again, and she looked amazing again. She was so solid on the course. She was a little slow and methodical, but she looked effortless at the beginning. Like, I thought she's gonna go really far if she's just taking this measured pace and not really looking to be straining.
Yeah, she was very controlled and calm, and that can help out a lot on ANW because some people get a little too fidgety or get too much in their own brains, kind of like Lance Pekus was saying for his run last year. I respect her approach a lot, and I sure hope you didn't get any blowback about including her in your quiz because she's awesome, man. She got the top run status in the females last year from what they were saying, and she's always been great. I really like seeing her. She's a different dynamic because she's taller, kind of like Maggi Thorne. Like, she definitely stands out as a female competitor, and I appreciate the fact that she's different. I mean, she rides motorcycles. She's got this Superman-looking dude of a boyfriend. Like, that guy could break me in half just by looking at me. And, yeah, I like her dynamic. She didn't make it to the finals, though, you're saying, Rich, right?
Yeah, she didn't, and I think it's that measured pace when you think about it, because she fell in the third crank, so she made it further, but she didn't complete that obstacle. I think she may have come the closest to actually finishing it, but
she was too slow getting to it, though.
Just a little too slow getting there, yeah, so in the end, it kind of bit her in the butt.
That sucks, man. So good. Well, I wish her all the best. We're definitely going to see her next year. I'm fully confident in that, and I enjoyed watching her run.
Next up, we had Jelani Allen, a walk-on who...
Oh, hang on. Before we get to him, we need to talk about this lady setting the record for the oldest female competitor to complete an obstacle, and she not only completed one obstacle, she got to the third obstacle and almost beat it. Do you have her name?
I'm so glad you well, shoot, because I didn't grab the name, and I kept thinking I meant to go back and get that, so...
Yeah, her name is Lori Ann Lloyd, and she's one competitor that I would love to see a video on. She made history, Rich. That's somebody that you can feature, and she's got to have a compelling story, because with her age, she looks in absolutely fantastic shape, and she made it to the third obstacle, dude. So, yeah, I wish we would have seen a little bit more of her. Still pretty awesome, and she didn't make it to the finals, but hopefully she competes next year and gets her time to shine, because I'm very intrigued by her story. Also, the triathlete, they were featuring him too, like he made it to the Olympics. I don't know much about him, but that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, she was amazing. I was a little surprised to see a decathlete not crush the course, because we've seen a few of them do very, very well. Mm-hmm. Back to Jelani Allen, the walk-on. He was in the lineup for 10 days, drove 26 hours to get there. This dude's story was pretty cool. He was like very last second to even to be old enough to even run the course. Had a real struggle on the hang glider. Managed to catch himself in the broken pipes and recover in a way I didn't think was possible, and I think most people didn't realize was going to be possible.
It was so cool, man. I love it's the struggle involved with the runs that just make it so intriguing. We got to back up and talk about his story, first of all. Really cool video, seeing him. First of all, the guy looks every bit of 21. He's so young looking. And just seeing him kind of like nerdy in a way, still catching himself, like becoming an adult. Him so excited to be on ANW. Him going to his grandfather, who might just be the star of the episode. That guy was so awesome. They drove and did a mini road trip, almost an entire day on the road. I mean, that's some devotion, and staying out there for 2 weeks. Just everything involved with this shows so much commitment to the sport. And I'm so happy for this kid. I mean, he never gave up during his entire run. It was just really amazing. And yeah, like what stood out to you the most about this, man?
Yeah, I can't lie. The recovery is what stood out to me, because I really, once he fell there, I mean, I knew every time they feature a walk-on, I feel like there's got to be something cool and different about the run. And we definitely got that with that recovery, because once you're hanging underneath there, it seemed like it would be impossible to get yourself back up. And we saw, I think it was the decathlete. There was definitely somebody before this that tried to do it and couldn't do it.
It was a decathlete. And as somebody that's done ropes underneath and stuff, something way smaller where he's on a log that's rolling, that's way thicker and harder to do, I can say it's not easy to be hanging like that. So major props to him. That took it doesn't look like it watching on TV, but that took so much strength and energy to do what he did. So much props to him.
So what about for you? What is it? Did anything else stand out to you?
To me, just seeing him at the top of the warped wall and his genuine happiness, and him just giving a shout out to all the walk-ons and the walk-ons being there with him. Because in many ways, they're on this journey together. And I always love seeing the stories of the walk-ons, because these people they've been living out there for 2 weeks, Rich. I mean, that's so long just to be on the show. I loved it so much. And just so much congratulations to you, Jelani. You are tied for the athletically profound run of the night. Congratulations.
We have our first tie. Interesting. Okay. I do have to give a quick shout out to Akbar and of course, the Twitter account ANW Akbarisms, because I don't notice them quite as much anymore, because I just get so used to Akbar and all the crazy things he says. But there was one in here that I really liked for him, and it was he just became legal and he's bar hopping like crazy. I thought that was a great one.
That is amazing. How did I not hear that? That great pull, Rich. Wow. Props to you, Akbar. You get a slow clap for that. That's pretty good. That is pretty good.
Next up on the course, we had Kyle Schelsey, one of our first, if not the first, deaf competitor that I'm aware of anyway.
Is it really the first?
I don't know if he's the first or not.
I have... If we've seen, like, blind competitors, there's have to have been another, deaf competitor before, right?
It has to have been. I don't know why they're not standing out.
But I can't.
But
either way, cool stuff.
Regardless, that's the thing that I loved about this guy is it doesn't matter. Like it certainly mattered. It made it a little more. It made it more interesting. But I loved him anyway. He was so excited. He's like playing to the crowd as he was going through it. He was
so much
solid
energy
on the course. He ended up falling in the second bar hop, but this guy's run was great. I loved him. He was awesome.
He was so fun. Like, he's just playing with the crowd, enjoying it. He's not making some sub story of like, oh, I suffer from deafness and it's like this defines me and I have to struggle through life and no discrediting anybody that has a story like that. But he's like, I'm deaf, but I'm living my life. I'm happy and I'm just doing my thing. And you know what? ANW, that's another thing I'm just going to do and watch me. It's awesome, dude. And it was just so much funness. He was so awesome. His family is the cutest dang family, especially his mom. I don't know if you know, his mom was so adorable just on the sidelines losing her stuff. Very happy for this kid.
Yeah, great run. I mean, it's everything we want in a run. Great dude, great competitor. Did he go far enough? I think he did. Yeah, I think he's going to be in the finals too.
If he did that, like if he passed crank it up, I think was a cutoff. So yeah, he made it.
Next up, probably one of the runs of the night. Maggi Thorne's had kind of a rough year, and it seems like the ninja community's really gotten behind her. She's so supportive. You can see her very, very active on Twitter and other social media. She's so supportive of everyone else. I'm glad to see that everybody's helping her.
Yeah, I mean, you see her on every single episode of ANW cheering on all the ninjas. She's become a hallmark almost of the sidelines and also on the show. But like you always see her cheering on and just genuine happiness and excitement for everybody. And Maggi Thorne, I must say, like I truly respect this woman for everything she does, not only in ANW but Spartan racing as well. I mean, she is a tough woman. And what this story was very real. Not only, like, I come from parents that are divorced and everything, but I feel like it's very relatable. Like, they say, I think over 50% of marriages end in divorce and everything. There's a lot of children that are affected by that, and a lot of people affected by that. And she's going through, a very fresh divorce that's got to be very hard, and you can see the genuine emotion in her faces. And it's very hard probably to open up to the entire country and everybody watching and just show that genuine emotion of what you're going through. It very much connected with me. It was a very real moment, and I very much appreciated that. I was just so rooting for her so much because it's unlike a lot of other competitors where you're introduced to them and they've got a really cool story and you're rooting for them. We've seen her for years now be part of the ANW community and just live with so much passion in the sport and being so happy with all these other competitors and living through all these courses and everything, even on the regional circuits. It just amps it up so much more of you wanting her to do so well, right, Rich?
Oh, yeah. Like, it was so intense, right? You just, watching her, you just wanted her to beat the warp wall. You want her to hit that new milestone. And everybody in the sidelines was going crazy watching her, trying to will her through the whole course.
And she struggled, like, her struggle was real on the course, too. It was such an amazing run.
Well, that's the thing. Like, so,
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt, but
No, go ahead. I interrupt all the time.
On the crank it up, as soon as she started, I'm like, oh no, she's like taking the hard way through this obstacle, it seemed. Like, she did not do that initial, like, swing up, kip up, whatever you want to call it, to get herself started. she just started cranking it from the very bottom, and I thought, oh my God. But the look of determination in her face, I swear that this is Sparta. Like, that face is probably just that determination that she's got from her primary sport, if you want to call it that, her specialty. She's just trying to muscle her way through this, and I'm like, oh no, this is going to be like so painful for her to try to get through all three of these.
It was just so compelling, though. Everything involved with the emotion, the sheer just grit, the heart involved with this, you very much tie and win for our athletically profound run of the night. Congratulations, Maggi Thorne. Couldn't happen to a nicer woman. So happy for her. And I'm so happy she got this time to genuinely show who she is as a competitor to the world. She very much deserves it.
Yes.
Wish it was on better circumstances, I guess, but still.
All right, so then we had some more fast forwards, including Dan Palizzi, which as soon as
surprising.
they showed Brandon midway through the episode, I'm like, well, Dan's going to be fastest run of the night. We'll be seeing him at the end, right? And no, they fast forwarded him.
Have you noticed, like, if you do really well in Team Ninja Warrior, you are fast forwarded in ANW? It's like, you've got your airtime for the year. You don't need ANW screen time.
That's a pretty good point.
Carson Williams, like
Travis Rosen.
Like, just go through all of them, right? Like,
yeah. Yep, that's a good point.
David Campbell, like, just, I don't know. Travis Rosen, he made it to the finals. Nope. Bye-bye. Not even on end. Oh, that's an interesting thing. Just got to keep an eye out for that, guys. It's been happening quite a bit.
So Dan did end up falling on the bar hop, but he made the top 30, so we'll get to see him in the finals, the city finals. So, yeah. Next up, we had Ethan Swanson, the YouTube stuntman and professional crazy person who makes me have my heart jump up into my throat every time he's on the screen.
This guy's going to give me a heart attack. I was just watching his video and just screaming, like walking around my house just shouting, nope, nope, nope. Like, just, we need to appreciate this guy's video. This guy is at the pinnacle of much needed videos because I have no idea how long we're going to get of videos from this guy. Because this guy's on a mission to kill himself. How do you go up a giant bridge and hang like resting, what are those called? Grip strength balls or whatever. And just hang from them. Like, this guy is just trying to just kill me. Like, just sitting on my couch watching him. Just so much anxiety watching it. I can't, I don't even want to think about it. Oh, I'm shaking.
You know what's funny is I am not scared of heights, but
I am.
I have common sense, and that does not look like a good idea to me at all.
It's just so much nope.
No, 1,000 times no. But I will say, as far as the more goofy side of this goes, the whole swan thing, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a good way to engage the crowd. It's a little weird.
It's goofy, but it's fine. I mean, at least he's engaging the crowd, as you said. We don't have enough comparisons doing that, so.
Yeah, I thought it was a good tie-in with his name. Yeah, I liked it. I think it makes him memorable too. And he's really strong. We saw that last season, right? This guy is really, really good, and I guess he's been doing it even longer than I realized. This is not his second season. He's been doing a few seasons now. Gets better every year. Yeah, he beat the whole thing, and I think we'll be seeing him do well in Vegas, this year too.
Cherish this man, everybody, for however long we have him. Cherish him.
Safety ropes. It's still impressive if you have safety ropes on. That's all I'm saying.
At least have a parachute connected to you or something, right? Just a fail-safe, please.
Moving on to our last run of the night, we had Lance Pekus, who definitely got his screen time this episode, which is cool because I really like Lance, and I was really anxious for him to get his redemption.
Yeah, I was happy for Lance because he's one of those top ninjas that you don't realize how athletic he is. Like, to me, it always hits me just so much more when I see him on Spartan Show. Like, I'm like, oh, this dude can go, because he's so buff and large that at least me in particular, I overlook how much stamina and energy and fast this guy is, because he just looks so buff and big. But this guy is very athletic, and I love his shtick. I mean, he's one of those ladies man guys, that the ladies all like, but he doesn't play it up like he's bouncing his boobs or anything. He's just, hey, I'm a hot dude that's, like a cowboy, and I'm gonna beast mode this course. And I was very happy for him because, much like JJ Woods, as you said, he's got a redemption story this episode.
Yeah. Thankfully, we didn't have to wait to know whether or not he was going to make it because Palm Wonderful. But I'm not going to harp on that.
Knew that was coming.
Anyway, he took 4 months off after his fall last year, which I think sounds like it was probably a good idea because, I don't know, when we watched him run, I remember thinking that he is so in his head. He was struggling right from the beginning of the course, and it's like he
looked very nervous.
Something off.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think a lot of ninjas really should have a little break. Just to have that mental dump, the release, and get all that stress out. It very much helps.
Yeah, he almost fell on the broken pipes. If he had fallen on the broken pipes...
That was scary.
Oh, jeez.
That was very scary. Y'all saw, he was close. What do you think that was like, Rich? Like an inch away from that water?
It was really close, and I was questioning everything I knew at that point. I was like looking at the time left in the episode going, is there somebody after him? Who's left? Like, I know he's got palm. He has to have the palm, so I knew he was going to make it through, but that fall made me double guess and literally look at the clock like, oh, is there somebody else? Who's left?
I'm very happy they got past it, because... I would really hurt, honestly, to see that happen to him twice in a row, 2 years in a row.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
You never want to see one of the top ninjas that, like, train all year go out like that. It's always the worst, and for it to happen twice, oh, man, that'd be very rough.
But he ended up getting the fastest time by over 30 seconds. He crushed the course.
Good on him. And remember, this was an episode Dan Palisi and Brandon Mears and stuff. Like, the fastest time of the night, once again... It at least shocked me. I don't know about everybody else, but it always surprises me just looking at his build and everything. I'm like, this guy can go. He is fast.
Yeah, I don't really underestimate Lance. I have definitely my ninjas that I'm not as high up on as you are, but Lance has been one of my favorites from the first time he stepped on the course. I've always thought he was really cool and good.
Yeah, love everything about him.
So that was it for the episode. When we look at the top 30, there were a few notable skips. Thank you, Brett Griffith, for reaching out to me on Twitter to point out that Jeremiah Morgan is back in ANW. That's very cool. He was in the top 30 a couple seasons ago, for those that don't remember him, and I'm betting Bijan's probably one of them. This guy was amazing, made it very far, all the way to stage 3, I believe. And I'm not even going to fact check that. I'm going to go with stage 3. Did really, really well, but didn't get a whole lot of airtime. But he wasn't on last season, and he is back this season. We'll see how he did.
Congrats. And I really feel bad because I'm not sure who you're talking about, but...
he got no airtime.
That's cool.
When I look back through, there's been a couple times I've tried to make sure that there weren't any ninjas that were getting skipped that we needed to kind of boost up their coverage a bit, I guess. Basically, like, hey, who can we shout out that's not getting... But overall, ANW is very fair. I know that's going to sound surprising, but if you look at who goes the furthest... They really do seem to focus on those people the most. Jeremiah Morgan's and Andrew Lowe's are being two of the big exceptions. But yeah, other than him, I do want to give a quick shout out to Taylor Sanders, a listener who has reached out to us on Instagram. Really cool guy, and didn't make the top 30, unfortunately. But it gave us kind of an insight. We watched his video on Facebook where he had a big viewing party and everything, and if you're not one of the ninjas, it's hard to appreciate what that must be like to, you don't know if you're featured. Nobody knows until you actually watch the episode, right? So you gather all your friends and family together to watch it, and then you just wait and see, right? Do you get a fast forward? Do you get a full feature? So I like that he posted this video of him describing to his friends and family what happened to him on the course, because they don't even know. The non-disclosure, he doesn't told them all how he did. So what turned out happening is he fell, similar to Lance Pekus did on the broken pipes, but his foot tapped the water. I guess it sounds like it didn't hit it very much, but it was enough for them to show it, like the slow motion replay up on the big screen, and let him know that he was out. And yeah,
it's unfortunate because that's always like the worst way to go, because there's just so much more you can show. But I understand, rules are rules. It's fair, but. you brought up the point that I think needs to be talked about just a little bit more of just that's so hard, and I feel for all the competitors because this is just a microcosm of something that happens just with so many competitors. I mean, you think about the hundreds of competitors that we see every season, or that run every season, I should say, and we get just a fraction of them on television. And there's got to be many disappointed people at home that await to see their run in years and years worth of training to be finally featured to the world, and they're overlooked. And, no blame to the editors. I mean, they have to create the show, but I really feel for the heartbreak of everybody that has to go through that. And, having to explain to their family and friends, like, what they had to go through on ANW because it wasn't featured. And I'm so happy that everybody was able to get that experience. I mean, at the end of the day, you still ran on American Ninja Warrior, and that's something you'll always be able to hold to you, like, for the rest of your life. But there's a part of me that's got to be really rough, especially, like, imagine, Rich, if you're from, like, a smaller town and everybody is looking forward to it, and it's such a big deal, and you just don't know if you're featured or not. Yeah, it's got to be such a stressful situation for everybody at home. I don't know, unless you're Nicholas Courage or Andrew Lowe's, because you already know if you're going to be featured, which is a definitive no. But other than that, I mean, I feel for everybody.
Yeah. I'm not sure what would be harder if you had gone out early and you're not going to be on the city finals run, or of the ones that actually hit the buzzer, because there's so many that hit the buzzer in this Kansas City qualifier.
It's got to be the buzzer,
and didn't get featured. It's like you would expect maybe to get something and to not get that has to suck. So I have to say, I'm going to make an open invitation. If you're a listener to this podcast and you've had your run skipped completely, or, you had no coverage on your episode and you want a shout out from us, definitely let us know. We will have no problem doing that whatsoever. And if you have any little video explaining what happened, we'll definitely cover that too.
Yeah, definitely. Love to hear about your stories and everything. And major props to everybody that runs ANW. Even if you fall on the first obstacle, I still have a lot of respect for you getting to that point and having the courage to try that course. I mean, major props to everybody. Before we go, we have to talk very quickly about Battle of the Network Stars, man. This will be our little spotlight. Seeing how I'm over Spartan just hurts my soul so much, man. But, dude, Battle of the Network Stars was shockingly, like, really fun. I enjoyed it. Now, you didn't watch it, right, Rich? I
didn't. I need you to tell me, like, as if I'm part of the audience here. So what was it like? What was good? What was bad?
It was so fun. Just it reminded me a lot of Wipeout. It's not Ninja Warrior, guys. Please don't go into that show thinking it's like that. It's not. But it's more of the funny, like, fun vibe of, like, wacky, super easy obstacles. Much more in the Wipeout, MXC type of vibe of show. It was really mostly, like, this show lives and dies based on the personalities. And the cool part about it is we only have, like, celebrities, so they bring on the charisma and personality in droves, dude. And it was really fun just seeing everybody have a fun, like, trash-talking dynamic. And we also, in this premiere episode, had kind of almost a villain with Tom Arnold coming in, like, everybody's there, everybody's ready to go. The first heat's running, and Tom Arnold hasn't even shown up yet. And he comes in, and he's all like a diva and everything, like barely even talks to the hosts and just moves on. And it's kind of just like, oh boy. But then he slowly gets into it. He really doesn't do many of the obstacles, but he does hold his own in the very end, doing this really cool tug-of-war thing. And I don't want you to go in the nitty-gritty of all the obstacles. You guys can watch the show to see that. I will say this, though. There was one team of TV kids, and they were all, like, really young, fit people. Like, I think there was only one or two people on the team that were, like, older. Most of them were in their 20s and 30s, and they were super in shape. Like, they killed the other team in, like, the relay race and anything dealing with agility. And the other team are, I forget what it was. I think it was TV sitcom or something like that, stars. But they were much older, dude. Much older. Tom Arnold's team. Just an older team, right, Rich?
Right.
And you just look at these two teams and you're like, well, the young people are going to just destroy this team. It was going to be embarrassing. And in the first part of the episode, they do destroy them in all the agility episode or obstacles. But then we get more obstacles that deal with a little bit more technique involved, right? And you got the tug of war, you've got this relay with a bunch of different obstacles, you've got this kayaking course, and guess what? A part of me was really rooting for these old people. The older team beats the young team by actually quite a bit. At the end, I think they won by like a 6-point difference, dude.
Really?
And yeah, it was pretty awesome. Like, as a starting episode, really cool seeing that dynamic of these older competitor, like this older team. I think the average age of the older team was in their like 52 or 53, and the average age of the younger team was 31, and that was only because they had two older athletes or celebrities on their team. It was such a drastic dichotomy in age, and yet the older team won, and it's really hard to explain, but the personalities really made this show so fun. I really think if you're into like the Wipeout fun version of obstacle shows, guys, give this show a chance. It was actually pretty fun. With that said, I mean, it's very apparent this show can get really old very quickly. It very much depends by every episode what personalities are involved, because it's definitely the celebrities and the personalities that are going to make this show. It's not the obstacles.
Cool. I might have to check that out.
Yeah, let me know if you guys love it or hate it. I'm curious, because I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I can see if somebody like absolutely hates it. It's like, oh, these obstacles are so easy. It's such a joke. I'm like, well, it's not really about that. I enjoyed it. It was fun stuff.
So that is it for this episode. This is the point of the podcast where we always give out our contact information, because that's what's really important to us. Most of the year, that's all we need. You might notice we don't normally ask for, ratings and reviews and all that stuff, or sharing on social media, because to us, the most important thing is that we get in contact with all of you and that you let us know how you're making out and what you think of the show. But I got to ask, we have a big ask you right here. This is the time of year, right? ANW is on. This is when everyone's engaged. We need your help in reaching out to as many Ninja fans as we can. So those of you that go to gyms, the big ANW fans, you have your own communities. Some of you are ninjas yourselves, and you have lots of people that watch you on the show and are fans of ANW. So if you could, we would really appreciate if on Facebook, on Twitter, whatever social media you got, please share out the podcast. Let them know we're here. We want to get as many Ninja fans as we can through the summer. And of course, we're here all year round. So that helps us out tremendously.
Yeah, not many people, they live ANW, but they're not aware that, hey, there's podcasts about ANW, this show that they love, live, and breathe.
And as always, you can reach out to me as @NinjaPodcast on Twitter and Instagram. You can email me at rich@ninjapodcast.com. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is BIJAN 151.
So once again, thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a terrific week.
Peace and love, y'all. Next week, we might have a big guest.